Hi, I'm Brandy Williams, founder of Williams Accounting and Tax Services in McDonough, Georgia. We're a full-service accounting firm proudly serving clients nationwide, including military families and U.S. expats. With over 20 years of experience as an IRS-enrolled agent, we've got you covered from past tax returns to business services and strategic tax planning. Visit WilliamsActTax.com. Let's get connected and take your finances to the next level.
Well, welcome everybody. It is lunchtime, and we just finished our lunch. It was delicious. And we're supposed to be drinking this. We were supposed to be, but that lunch was delicious. All right, let's get into it. Again, if you have questions, comments, concerns, we open up a few slots for the remainder of March and April for booking a call. Highly recommend. Okay. Middleman to Million School Group. Again, we'll have next month. We'll go over government contracts. We'll go over a lot of certifications and classes. Again, round 2 or round 3 at that point. And some of the things I'll be personally be able to put some photos and pictures inside the school group here coming up in about 2 weeks. So super excited about that. And then also land grab community. Again, we just had a great live training yesterday. Lots of questions were answered. A lot of sites we went over, opportunities. Grab in, get in. That's the best way to do stuff. Okay, boom. Let's get into today. Real lunch news you can use. Iran jobs in farming. Now, I don't know if you have it, but if you did, grab the 40 certifications for tech jobs, volume 1 or 2. Okay. The algorithm. Hey, I appreciate it. 1 or 2. We will have a one-pager that's going to be added in there. It's about 37 different websites to get yourself in one of these remote jobs, tech jobs. I know people thinking, no, they laid off all the tech people. A lot of the AI hype is overhyped. They still need people to be over a lot of these companies, a lot of the help desk stuff, a lot of the customer service. So don't get it twisted. That's just don't want you to get it twisted. Okay, so let's get into it. Y'all, I didn't want to start bad with the schools, but I have to. Okay. I'm gonna start with the schools, with the children. I know y'all like, no, Erica, not the children. Again, there is, I'm gonna start with the kids. Now, when people say, Erica, what's going on in the schools? Again, they already went all the way to Supreme Court, and this was in Michigan, that they don't have to teach your child how to read. Like the school system fought all the way to the Supreme Court to say they didn't have to teach your child to read, y'all. Like, so when y'all sit here and play, I'd be like, this ain't the time to play. This ain't it. Okay. So let me pull up this young lady. Now, again, this is happening in Georgia. It's not Atlanta, but it is Georgia. And sometimes y'all be like, I'm going to move outside of Atlanta for better schools, smaller community, yada, yada, yada. And I'll be like, you sure? Are you sure?
Hard time believing that a school district would do this.
That was Heather Kinsinger, mother of 3 whose children used to attend schools in Fayette County, Georgia. I'm Atlanta News First investigative reporter Andy Perotti. We uncovered Heather's frustration mirrors a statewide trend. Parents are increasingly taking legal action against Georgia schools for allegedly failing to address children's special needs.
They were looking for a way to shut us up, and we are not the people that shut up.
Your reading program for children like mine is lipstick on a pig.
We break down all the numbers in our full investigation. You can watch for free right now on our Atlanta News First app on any of these streaming platforms.
It's such a shocking story that when you tell it, people
my bad. Faye is Metro.
have a hard time believing that a school district would do this.
That was Heather Kinsinger.
Now, why am I bringing her up? Why am I showing her? Her daughter is dyslexic. Now, I'm just saying the school ended up going through this lawsuit and had to pay her family. The district had to pay her family $332,000. They could have paid for a teacher for 5 years with that, y'all. 6 years, really, if you want to do the math. They could have paid for a teacher or a reading assistant, an after hours, an afternoon tutor. And I'm just telling y'all, if they will do this really pretty young girl, blonde hair, blue-eyed girl who just needed some extra reading attention, just needed, they have the EID labels, right? if they will do her like this and she just needs a little help, what do you think going on in some of these other schools? I keep telling y'all, the reason people are pulling their kids out and doing homeschooling and co-ops and Montessori schools is because they're trying to figure out how to save money. The school system trying to figure out how to save money. They're like, the teachers are fed up, they're quitting. So I just always tell people, like, if you think, well, my kid better go to school, and they got to do it because my kid, it's the law. We have a young lady in here, Sienna Wright, who wrote a whole book about special needs kids and spoke on stages and spoke at schools. Trust me, these schools are trying to figure out how to cut budgets and do bare minimum. That's why when y'all be asking me about, well, not all schools, I'll be like, oh, okay. Let me play this. This is some more schools. Brace yourself. Okay, this is, again, it's teachers out here talking about this stuff, and it's sad, but it's we all know what's going on.
Stuff like that. Rulers, watching them use scissors is low-key terrifying. Some of them don't know how to tie a shoe. A lot of them don't know basic multiplication. Most don't know how to capitalize. They don't know what to capitalize. They don't know that they're supposed to capitalize their own names, I don't think. They don't know how much coins are worth, like all the different coins, a quarter, a dime, all that. Things my middle schoolers don't know how to do part 2. Some of them don't know what year they were born. They don't know how to use paper clips, staplers, stuff like that. Rulers, watching them use scissors is low-key terrifying. Some of them don't know how to tie a shoe. A lot of them don't know basic multiplication. Most don't know how to capitalize. They don't know what to capitalize. They don't know that they're supposed to capitalize their own names, I don't think. They don't know how much coins are worth, like all the different coins, a quarter, a dime, all that. Things my middle schoolers don't know.
Now, this is why I keep telling y'all, there are several teachers who are coming on here talking about this. Again, what is middle school? Middle school is at youngest, like let's say your child's going early, 10 years old, but usually 11 to 13. Now, at most 14. Now, you got some kids that have failed and they don't need to even be there, really, honestly, 15. Okay. Now, why does that matter? Why does that matter what I just told you? If you're 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, and I can't give you quarters, I can't give you dimes, you can't capitalize a sentence, you can't really use scissors, I am concerned for what's going on in your house. I'm almost tempted to test you for mal-retardation. Just being honest. Like that at 10 through 13 years old. And this is something when my nephews were 5 and 6, I would put dollars in their hand and I say, how much back? And sometimes they would say, I need 2 quarters back. And you know what I mean? They tell the lady and she'd be like, yes, honey, I'm going to give you 52 cents. So that's 2 quarters and 2, and I would wait. I'd be like, we're going to wait here until we get it right. And yes, this is the South. Some places are slower. I could do this in smaller stores. But they were saying how all these kids are trying to get debit cards. And the studies already show when you swipe a card, you tend to spend more. Okay. Now, this is why when parents say, Erica, I got kids, you don't understand. This is why I don't even let parents slide that by me, because we already know what's happening 10, 11, 12, 13. You got them making their own dinner. They in there making their own spaghetti. They in there making their own sandwiches, right? They eating whatever Hot Pockets for dinner, right? People start allowing kids more freedom to just watch themselves in middle school. I remember they had a lady on the news, they had arrested her. And they were like, what's the problem? She had like 5 kids. The oldest kid was maybe 11 in the house, little girl. Little boy was 10. But all the other kids are like babies, right? And they're like, you can't leave this child at this age. And she said the law said I could leave them up to 4 or 5 hours alone. Can you imagine that? Somebody going to like studying the law just enough to know they can leave their kids alone for 4 to 5 hours at that age range. That's crazy, y'all. Okay, Erica, you just picking now. No, let me keep going. This is in Philadelphia. Okay. Now you're gonna be like, Erica, no, don't pick on Philly. Don't do it. Don't know. I got to. I keep meeting people from Philly who like, I love Philly. They be acting like they escaped somewhere dangerous. And I watch this and I go, okay, I get it.
Look at the sheep. Look at the sheep. Look at the sheep. Oh, shit. Yeah, no.
He mad as shit.
Look at the sheep. Look at the sheep. Look at the sheep. Oh, shit. Yeah, no.
He mad as shit.
Now, I don't know what you're seeing, but I hope you're seeing the screen. Some of y'all at work, y'all just listening in the background. This is literally kids punching and kicking a white shirt. Now, you're going to say, Eric, I don't get the difference of the white shirt and the blue shirts. The blue shirts are beat cops. The white shirts have a little bit more ranking. You know, when you call for a supervisor, I need a supervisor. These are high-ranking people. And kids are literally running up on them, hitting them in the head, kicking them in the back. And this is why I'm always about school uniforms, because you got everybody wearing hoodies. I don't know who's a student, who's not. And I'm pretty sure they had to tell them, look, we can't pepper spray the crowd, baby, the kids. I would have pepper sprayed the whole crowd. Every single child would have been out there having an asthma attack. Okay? They said, man, Erica, why did you spray all the kids? Because I needed them to sit down. Okay? That's all the parents. Listen, in middle school, that's all parents. That's all your home. Listen, you have people who will have a child that's 12 years old, and they like, I don't know how the child's morbidly obese. Well, he cooks for himself? What are you doing? Cooking whole steaks by himself? These people want to abdicate everything. And again, they be like, well, you don't know he sneaks snacks. There's no way your 12-year-old son has sneaked enough food in your house to have an extra 100 pounds of weight. I watched a video the other day, and this mom was blaming the snacks. Ma'am, your child's 100 pounds overweight. My nephew plays soccer. They had a kid in there, and the mom had brought her son out, and he was clearly 150 pounds overweight. Like, he was like struggling to walk in the cleats because they were like, his ankles was just struggling. And I was like, this is child abuse. And I'm not even being funny. It wasn't a hood mom. It was literally like a well-educated office working Black woman. And we looking at her like, why is your son this damn big? Every afternoon at this point, he has to be at a trainer, swimming classes, tennis classes, soccer. He got to be running every afternoon, ma'am. This, like, if the state saw this child condition, he'd take this child. If CPS did a call to your house, and she wasn't some bird brain, y'all. She was literally like, she worked at the hospital down the street. I know what her job position is. After she told me, I'm like, you know, this is dangerous. So it's not just always, oh, well, Erica's those type of parents. No. Okay. Kids be wearing Crocs, debit cards, Apple Pay, paper. They have laptops. I get it though. So again, I get it, all that Apple Pay stuff, but literally when kids cannot read and write their name, cooked. My son gets a cash allowance. He'll be at Walmart toy selection, making hard choices. There you go. Count what's in your hand. Right? Same with parents blaming social media for their kids' issues. Since when did kids afford phones and internet service? I'm just trying to figure it out. I just don't understand. So let me go one more. This again, don't, Erica, you're being racial. Whatever. It is what it is. Again, just take it for a grain of salt.
What? Is that racist? But this isn't?
No, because we do it to protect ourselves, because you people have a history of, lynching and murdering Black and brown people, sometimes for no fucking reason at all. You have a history of eating us. You nasty mother. Most of y'all's little pink thing get hard at the eye.
She's so stupid. She's stupid. I just want you to understand, why are people making co-ops? They're just parents working together. So proximity matters. It depends on where you live is what's going to be the makeup of your co-op. Just alert, awake parents, right? And people going to be like, you're too hard on the parents, Erica. Stop talking about the parents. Okay. All right. I'm going to go on to the next. Okay. Now you're going to say, Erica, you keep saying people making all this money, but what about the Blacks? I'm just like, y'all send me emails. Y'all send me the most ridiculous stuff. Like Tone Talk said this. And I'd be like, I don't give a damn. Again, this is 2023, y'all. This is 2023 for the first time in U.S. history. 62% since 2017 generating $249 billion in revenue and over 1.8 million jobs. Every time y'all open y'all raggedy mouths to talk about, well, black customer service, and I'll be like, are you talking about a food restaurant? Yeah. Why are you talking about food? Black people own home healthcare businesses. They own construction companies and warehouses at higher rates than others. Now, this down here by this Florida, Miami, questionable. Okay, are these Afro Latinos? Are these Puerto Ricans? Are these Haitians? Okay, questions. Now you see Houston's in blue. Okay, salute to Houston and everything around Houston, Texas, the counties around it, super blue. You see over here by Austin, blue. This is Hutto. I already know where this is. This is North Austin, Hutto, Manor, Killeen, high black ownership, right? This is San Antonio. The orange is San Antonio. Okay, come on, get with it. All right. Now look at Hawaii. These are military areas where the orange is. This part of Alaska is where all the black people live. I kid you not. There's more black people in Alaska than these 4 states combined. Now, you see what I'm doing with the mouse? I hope y'all can see the mouse. Can y'all see the mouse moving? If y'all can't, my bad. Up here by Iowa, North Dakota, South Dakota. Over here, more than these 4 states. Now you see the blue. You're like, Washington State is so expensive for black people. But look over there in Washington State by Seattle. Look at that. Look down here in Southern California, San Diego. I know it's San Diego. Look over here in Arizona, Phoenix. Look over here. Look over here. Look at Kansas City. Should be more darker, but it ain't. Look over here in Dallas, dark blue. Okay. Look at the Carolinas. All this right here. Look over here by Charlotte, dark blue. Up here where the black people be living in Virginia. So to have these Erica black peoples is suffering. The blacks. Erica, you don't know what you're talking about. Tone Talks told us all the blacks are poor. I'll be like, y'all, please. I need you to stop. It's getting like are y'all depressed? I think y'all are depressed. That's the only thing I can explain it. If you're depressed, baby, go seek some help. It's getting real crazy out here. Okay. So does everybody see the screen? Put a 1 in the comments if everybody can see the screen. So I can go on to the next. Okay. I want to go on to the next. Hey, I want to go on to the next. Can you see the screen? Make sure you screenshot it. Make sure before you email our office talking about Tone Talks and Yvette told you we all poor and need to go to work, send this to them. Please. This is Brookings Institute. Well, who put the study together, Erica? This is the Brookings Institute. It's the Brookings Institute, y'all. For the love of Jesus. They literally go out here and dig up the data all over. This is Brookings Institute. Well, I don't know if I can trust the Brookings Institute. Okay, well, good luck. Good luck. I can't. Y'all send me so much like, oh, Erica, but the blacks. I'll be like, okay, and they're fine. The blacks, might not be fine, but if you travel a bit around this country, they're doing just fine. All right, let's go. Here's the next one. Oh, okay, here we go. What's happening to all these old office buildings? Office to residential. Okay, more than 90,000 units are in the pipeline, which means they're in process, have permits, is up 28% since last year. We told y'all they're going to just turn these offices into apartments. Now, they aren't going to be able to convert everything, but what they're trying to do is get that population back in the cities. How can they get the population back in the cities? And that is how they will do it. That is how they will do it, is by turning these offices into apartments and, the whole loft style living and all that good stuff. That's how they're going to do it. Okay. All right. So, of course, New York is always going to lead on that one. Washington, D.C. is next. All them government buildings Trump been selling out there. Okay. Chicago, Illinois. They're going to have to do it in Chicago. Los Angeles. Dallas, Texas. I told y'all there were a bunch of YouTubers. And I put his face up here a couple times so you know who I'm talking about. He bought a building. and converted it. So it's happening. And Dallas had a lot of people that were under the, it was time to, what do you call it? Refinance their loan or do a balloon payment. So they just had to sell. So Denver, even Atlanta. Now you thinking, no, Erica, Atlanta's got all these new construction. Yeah, but they even turning buildings in Atlanta. Ohio as well. Cincinnati as well. Right? All that Midwest Rust Belt place, they got a lot of empty buildings. It just makes sense. Okay. We go to the next. I had it over here. Oh no. Oh yeah. Everybody says, Erica, where the money at? Well, there nobody has any money, Erica. You just don't know what you're talking about. There's no money out here. And again, here's another one. All right. Here's another one. Where the money at? Where the money reside? Where the money reside? Now, you know, oh boy, done got a tax office, but we're going to leave that conversation alone. So this article, this is Washington Street Journal. For those who are like, no, Erica can't be. Yes. Numbers of Americans are worth millions and hundreds of millions of dollars. And that, no way, Erica. Yes. 500,000 households worth 30 million or up. Did they lose some traction? Of course. How could someone be over worth 30 million or up? I'm going to tell you prime example. If they own 2 apartment buildings in Dallas, if they own 2 apartment buildings in Houston, if they own a warehouse and an apartment in Houston, they could be worth 30 million, right? And that's, again, I know you're going to say, no, that's not, because the assets and the liabilities and the loans, trust me, somebody's not just going to own one hotel, one apartment building, one office. They're owning a collection of these things. Okay. They're owning a collection of these things. So there's about 430,000 U.S. households worth more than $30 million. Now you may say, well, Erica, what's that mean? Okay. What does it mean is those people are they're not in the 1%, but they're in like the 2 or the 5, what we call the top 5% in America. Like top 5. Now let's go down here. There's another group worth 50 million. There's another group very much smaller worth 100 million. So again, you're talking about where are these households at? How did they find them? Why are they being measured? Right? So again, first comment, yet more than half the country's paycheck to paycheck. And I'm gonna be an a-hole and say by choice. By choice. Oh, I just want to do that. And so my question is not, well, how they get so rich, but like what industries? What do they own? That's the thing I'm gonna ask. What industries? What do they own? What buildings are they owning? You know, is it oil and gas, folks? Is it the children of oil and gas? A lot of New Yorkers are mad right now because they hear all these young people talking about how expensive everything is. But the average data on the New Yorkers that are moving there are the children of business owners. They're the children of people who own property in New York. So the guy or girl beside you in the cubicle acting like every life is hard is faking. It's faking all day. True, I saw that happen already with office buildings, now apartment homes. Yep. Future will literally be the have and have nots. There you go. To be able to reading, writing, critical thinking. Yeah. Okay. So when people ask where the money at, that's where it is. Now let me play this. Y'all favorite guy y'all love to hate. Let's play him. And again, remember, he's 67 years old. Ripped.
I promise you, if you take this piece of advice and somehow integrate it into the rest of your life, like I'm trying to, I think it'll benefit you as well. This guy told me it was 2012, 13 maybe. Global recession, it was like really ramped. Things were terrible. I thought I was going to lose my business. Keep in mind, I was brought up by a single mom who was raised during the Great Depression. So in my family, we were always waiting for the other shoe to drop, for things to get worse. World's going to come to an end. And I kind of invested and done business like that my whole life, waiting for something bad to happen. I'd always oversaved. If they said 3 months was the right amount to save for, I would save for 9 months or even 13 months. Or I think I had 3 years of savings at one point because I was waiting for something bad to happen. And this guy told me, he's like, Grant, no matter what happens in the world, and he was older than me at the time, 15 years older than me, 15 years older. He was worth at that time $4 billion. Today he's worth $24 billion. One thing, Grant, remember this always. No matter how bad things get in the world will continue to go on. People will continue to go to work. People will continue to want to take care of their families, eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, get in their car or go someplace, want to take a vacation, and boom, it hit me. Look, this is what I've been doing wrong my whole life. He says, Grant, the optimist will always do better than the doomer, and the optimist will more likely than not, even if he doesn't do better than the doomer, will be happier than the doomer. That changed my life. Share it with somebody that might need it, folks. The world will continue to go on. During COVID, it went on. 2008, it went on. Through all the wars, it went on. Through nuclear attack on Japan, it went on. The Great Recession, whatever, the Great Depression, the world goes on. Hope you find this to be useful.
Okay. Why am I showing you this? Why am I showing you Grant Cardone talking about be optimistic, be the world still goes on? Because that's the truth. Crazy enough, I'm in a couple of e-com groups and I'm watching people post their wins. And it's not to brag, it's literally to show you like the show goes on. People are still buying supplements. People are still buying drinks. People are still buying energy drinks. Every time I hear somebody saying the majority of people are living paycheck to paycheck, and them same folks will make sure they got cigarettes in their hand. They got vape pens in their hands. They go to the restaurants they want to go to. They eat where they want to eat. They do whatever they want to do. That's why y'all can't convince me like, Erica, nobody's doing anything. Now, are there segments and moments in the economy where it looks like the businesses are going to like die? It looks real dead outside in some towns. Yes. Even this military town, they have literally like, I'm not going to say 50,000, but they got like, well, I could say that. I could. 50,000 people that are either in or not active or retired from the military in this town. 1,000 people that were active just got sent overseas. And if you talk to people, they're like, oh my God, oh Lord Jesus, the town's going to die. No, it's not. The government still has like 10 conferences coming to this town. The town still has thousands and thousands of soldiers who are buying gas, going to eat out, going to drink. Honey, boy, I tell you, I just had to tell my mama that on the phone. We were laughing every time. My one monkey don't stop no show. People act like one person. Oh, Lord Jesus. That doesn't make no sense, y'all. I went by the car wash. It was 30 cars lined up down the street. I said, are you kidding me? It's pollen time. Why are y'all even washing y'all car? Take the water hose at your house and spray it real quick. But people will go shop. Every time I go by Hobby Lobby over here, every time I go by these, what's that place called? Michael's. There's a store here called Dick's Sporting Goods and Academy Sports, right? Their parking lots stay booked and busy. Everything within Dick's Sporting Goods and Academy are all recreational items. You don't need them to live. You don't need them to survive. You don't need them to eat. Okay? They're tennis, okay, you could say my kids need shoes, but footwear, clothes, like those places, they packed. So this ideal that everybody is suffering, baby, if you get up and everybody in your family is struggling and suffering, baby, I'm not going to tell you get a new family. I'm going to tell you need to spend more time with others. I mean, I'm talking about today. Don't even tell your family. Just be like, oh, I'm really busy this week. I got a training after work or something. I don't know what y'all got to tell people. Okay. But I got some training to do after work. I got something else going on. I don't know what you have to tell your family. Okay. You're going to have to tell them something. Okay. Now, before I get to the other big news, let me share. I have like 3 before I get to the world news. We're going to do the world news in a second. Let me see. Let me show you this one. Okay. Y'all should be able to see it again. Now, remember, y'all, like Japan is broke. Are they though? They just dropped $90 million on Miami's most coveted development site. Kusakamima. I'm just messing with y'all. I don't even know how to sound this out because I have the K and then the Umima, Mega, something. Capital isn't exactly announcing itself without a bang, right? With a bang. The firm making its first known move into the Western Hemisphere hasn't shown much appetite for the spotlight. South Florida. Okay, now why am I showing y'all this? Okay, why am I showing y'all this? Now you're gonna say, Erica, Japan is so, oh my God, this is a Tokyo developer who's buying into Miami. Every time I tell y'all really ignore, the truth of the matter. America is one of the best countries to make some money off of. This is why when y'all like, Erica, you just don't understand, Erica. The economy, I'm telling you, people in Dubai, look what happened when Dubai might got hit. People flooded the airports. They're trying to leave. Yemen, all the Middle East countries, as much as they declared their love for the Middle East, they were on planes leaving. On planes leaving as fast as they can. Where were they going? America, South America. They even were not going to Europe. That's the crazy part, right? Where are people in Europe leaving to? Where are Canadians coming to? They're coming to America. Do not bet against America. I keep telling y'all this, and y'all don't believe me. But this summer, when I'm droning, don't y'all talk. I'm gonna be all up. I'm gonna get on y'all nerves. The amount of drone footage I'm have for y'all, I'm gonna get on y'all nerves. I'm telling y'all now. Because I'm sitting in rooms with people who just got to America 2 years ago, and it's like, I'll do whatever it takes. I'll partner however I got to partner. I'll build whatever I have to build. Y'all don't think like that. You never do. So that's why y'all can't convince me, like, Erica, you just don't see how bad it is out here. You being mean. I'm like, I swear to you, I'm not. I swear to you, I'm not. Because I know y'all not hungry like these people are hungry. Y'all not knowing you have to go. You have to invest your money somewhere else just to make it. These people have to invest here to make it. They're running out of options where they are. And you're sitting here talking about, well, the economy's so bad. Everything's so bad, Erica. It's horrible. And I'll be like, what are you talking about, Erica? What are you talking about? Like, you sound crazy. Okay. Let me go over here again. Let me show you this one. Y'all, do y'all know who Ken Griffin is? Do you know who Ken Griffin is? Do you have an idea who Ken Griffin is? Not the baseball player, not the black guy. Clearly, this guy who does not know he needs to wear more than shades on his face. He's the Citadel founder. He's on the 67th floor of the Park Tower. The final remaining Chicago property is back on the market for $12 million. A deal to sell. Okay, now listen. I told y'all when you said, Erica, why would people move from Chicago to Texas, Chicago to Dallas, Chicago to Miami? This is Financial Wall Street. He's one of the biggest. I don't know if y'all remember the movies Dumb Money, or was it? Yeah, was it Dumb Money? When they were talking about the AMC thing, he was on there. He was on there. I'm gonna leave that alone. Spend your day Googling about him. Just Google about 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes. Okay, the man is worth $48 billion. You know what I'm saying? And he don't care. He don't care. I don't care. 2022, he told everybody we getting out of Chicago. We are leaving this place. That's why when I tell y'all Chicago gonna be bankrupt, y'all be like, "Oh, you're a hater, Erica. You just hating on Chicago." I'm like, no, I'm telling you the data. When you have 4 of the biggest billionaires leave Chicago and say they're relocating to Dallas so they can do Wall Street and go into my other 3 are going to Miami, half your budget in Chicago is made off these people. And they're taking all their staff with them, or 70% of his staff decided to go. He told them some of them y'all can stay. You know, some of y'all can stay if y'all want to. All right, here we go. Also, these are dynasty builders. A lot of times y'all gonna be like, no, Erica, no, don't do it. You may not ever heard of these women. You're like, I don't know who these women are. It don't matter. People die. People's husbands dies. People daddies dies. I'm not trying to be negative, but these are some of the biggest movers and shakers. Again, right here, Miami. Look at that last name. Okay, New York City. Okay, modernizing a legacy NYC empire while preserving her family's long-term ownership. Again, you may talk crazy. You may want to talk crazy because you can't talk to her daddy, but you ain't gonna talk crazy to her. I'm just telling you. Okay, let's next. Okay, South Florida. You don't got to do it today, but I will tell you, look these people up. Because her people also have Nashville ties. Okay. LA, look at what we're looking at here. I don't have to say it. You can see it. 18 million square foot portfolio spanning multifamily, office, retail, medical properties, including 33 apartment buildings. She's Jamie Lee of the Jameson. I just want you to understand. All the Lees that know her is some Lees with some money. Not all Lees got money. But if a Lee knows her, they a Lee with some money. Do you know what I'm saying? If a Lee knows her, not all Lees have money, but if a Lee is related to Jamie, they got some. Okay, we'll keep moving. All right, this is South Florida. Again, y'all keep acting like, well, Florida, who's in Florida? Money. And now their children. Listen, we make joke about the cocaine cowboys, but now their children. Okay, now she's over $3 billion invested over 1,300 plus luxury condos and hotels. She's the next generation of the family legend. Listen, you may want to talk to their daddy. You can't talk to their daddy, and you can't talk to none of their uncles. They're doing articles like this. They're putting them out as the front-pacing person because guess what? Why would I put my daughter over stuff? What's going to happen? If I put my daughter out here, what happens? If I put my daughter out here, what happens? I'm going to give y'all 30 seconds to put in the comments. Why are people putting their daughters over these companies? I'm going to give y'all 30 seconds to put in the comments because I know it's delayed. Silverstone, you already know what that is. New York City. 2 and 5 World Trade Center, plus a portfolio over 40 million square feet in New York City. Come on. Silverstein Properties. Come on. Okay. Now, if you get their Titans book, they sent it out earlier this year. I'll probably hold it up. These are some other names that are also big players. But why would I put my daughter out here as the face? Why would I be like, you better respect my daughter out here as the face? To make the manosphere mad? Benefits? Okay, what did I just tell you about all those government contracts? How do we qualify for them? Right? Because again, none of those people some of them are minorities, technically. But how do we qualify for all these government contracts? Percentage-wise, even with a board, it could be a woman-owned company, minority-based company, people of color company. Yeah, we're New York, we're helping with the expansion. Okay? Okay? just letting you know. Thank you, Ray Gunn, for supporting the channel. I just want y'all to understand what's happening. When I talk about the change of the guard, that's what we mean. That's what we're talking about right here. All right. So again, this one too. We play it and get the audio playing.
64. His legacy also points to a much bigger story. The future of the American mall is splitting in two. At the bottom, closures, delinquencies, empty storefronts. At the top, luxury malls are holding up, and in some cases, getting stronger. This is the new retail divide. Analysts call it a K-shaped recovery. Weaker Class B and C malls keep falling behind, while the strongest assets, particularly luxury-oriented Class A properties, pull ahead. The divide is getting more extreme. There are roughly 900 malls in America. According to Green Street, the top 100 malls account for half of the sector's value. The bottom 350, just 10%. And Simon Property Group saw that shift early. Its portfolio includes some of the country's biggest outlets, as well as some of its top-tier malls, including Roosevelt Field on Long Island, where tenants like Hermes, Rolex, and Armani help drive about $1,250 in sales per square foot, with occupancy above 96%. That's not random. It's a real estate reality check on who still has spending power. Over the last few decades, Americans who own stocks in real estate have seen their wealth grow much faster than everyone else's. Retail landlords are responding by chasing the customers who can still spend. Jerome Powell acknowledged that trend late last year.
If you listen to the earnings calls, there's a bifurcated economy there. Consumers at the lower end are struggling, but at the top, people are spending.
But there's another shift that is specific to retail. Experience. Retail leasing is leaning harder into the things you can't get online. Gyms, spas, restaurants, entertainment activations. In fact, for the first time on record, service-based tenants outpaced goods-based tenants in all U.S. retail leases. That tells you where the business could be heading. For the best assets, the mall is no longer just a place to shop. It's a curated, high-income, experience-driven real estate play. So no, the American mall isn't making a universal comeback. Roughly 40 malls still close every year, and the loans they back are delinquent at disproportionate levels. But while the bottom falls away, the top is getting stronger. And that may be the clearest legacy of David Simon's era. Not saving every mall, but helping define which malls can win. Keep reading about how retail owners are adapting at therealdeal.com. The Mall King is...
So he died at 64. Again, Simon Property Group. It's unfortunate. I mean, I keep telling y'all, like, I'm not trying to be funny, but like when people think they're going to live to be 90, you got billionaires. Yes, stress adds to it. Yes, cholesterol. Yes, your diet and exercise. The other day, someone tried to argue with me in the comments like, yeah, black man's age is 72. No, nope. I had to pull the paragraph up. I had to pull up 7 reports and say, no, it's 61 to 71. They're being generous. Okay. 61 is where it starts for black men to 71. This is a white man, billionaire white man died dead at 64. And you trying to argue with me that you at 57 with gout and bad heart problems is going to have some more children. Come on, man. Go get remarried. Gonna have kids. Gonna do. I wish you the best, sir. You could live to be 70, 80, 90 years old. This woman could birth life into you and cook you nothing but vegetarian food for the rest of your life. Yes, sure. I'm just saying, I'm not discouraging people. I'm just saying, be aware of timing. I literally saw a lady whose husband had a heart attack at work and died. They just bought a house and they were in their 50s. And I was like, he was like, we just got this house. I don't know if we'll be able to keep it. And it won't, like, I'm not disrespecting the house. It wasn't a big house. It was a 1-story. And I was sitting there like, damn, why y'all buy this house if you by yourself couldn't hold it? What if one of y'all lost your job? Y'all in y'all 50s and still, there's nothing wrong buying your first house in your 50s. I'm just saying, pay attention. Everybody ain't living forever. Okay. Let me get out of there. Let me get out of there before y'all cuss me out. Let me get out of there. Let me get out of there. Let me stop. I know how y'all get. Let me get out of there. Okay. Let me go over here to, well, I ain't gonna lie. Let me do one more. This is the rich. Well, I could do, I'm gonna do this one. This is Martha's Vineyard. A lot of black people think they're gonna go to Martha's Vineyard.
You need to understand what's actually happening on the island that time of year. Because August, it's basically Black Martha's Vineyard season. You got Legacy Week, and that brings the HBCU alumni and the professionals to the island for networking events and parties. Then there's the Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival. I'm going to that. This is one of the biggest Black film festivals in the country. It has screenings and panels and celebrity sightings all over Oak Bluffs. Around that same time, you're going to see Comedy Fest, which is going to bring some of the biggest names in Black comedy to the island. So those kind of overlap. Later in the month, there's Grand Illumination Night. And this is when the gingerbread cottages in Oak Bluffs are lit up with hundreds, if not thousands of lanterns. And the whole town basically turns into one big celebration. And that's just a few of the big things happening, because there are fairs and concerts and book events and road races happening all summer. But in this series, I'm going to walk you through all the different weeks in August and give you tips on how to find lodging, depending on when you want to be on the island and what you want to do. Because trust me, August books up fast. And I probably should have made this video a lot sooner than now. But comment MV if you want all the lodging tips. So wait, if you're thinking about going to Martha's Vineyard in August, you need to understand what's actually happening on the island that time of year.
Now, why am I showing this? You're going to be like, why are we talking about Martha's Vineyard? What does this matter? And she does a whole thing on Martha's Vineyard. And I've told y'all this before, and I say it again. I talked about the Gilded Age the other day. The way old money stays in power, okay, is every couple of years they got to let some of us in, okay? I just want to be very clear. How does old white money, old black money, old Jewish money, anybody with old money, the way they keep status is you desiring to want to go there. Now, what was the peak? I'm gonna be honest. If you know anybody who, just because I know certain people, especially my friends that were in DC at this time when Obama was in office, I remember girls, and this is, again, remember how long ago it was when Obama was in office. They were like, oh my God, we're going to Martha's Vineyard because the Obamas are going to be there. And I was like, girl, what? And they had to give me the rollout of like trying to find a dude that wasn't too old, but older with some money, because DC's really, they felt like DC was bad for dating, yada, yada, yada. Anyway. And how does power retain power, right? These people do eventually marry. They do eventually have kids, but they have to slowly let the next generation come in, learn the customs, learn how to, keep up status and do this. If they don't, then what value is wealthy Black people if nobody acknowledges them, right? They still be wealthy and black, right? But the next generation has to what? They want to influence the next generation. So every couple years, they gotta let some of them in, y'all. That's all I just want. Just slide that by you. That's how power retains and power is you like, oh man, if I can just go, if I can just hang out with some of them, it'd be so great. That's just how it works. So every couple years, you know, they let some new people take the, you know, the crown, right? Let some new folks in, a few of the new ones. All right, I'm not gonna beat that. That's for another day. We'll do that. We'll do the Martha's Vineyard conversation another day because I know where I want to go with it, but I better not. Let me get out of there. This next segment I'm gonna call Kids and Housing and why I think whenever you get a divorce, you should always get the house. I know y'all like, no, Erica, that's the men. If you get divorced and there's no money left over and you're homeless, sir, y'all didn't save enough anyway. Y'all don't have nothing saved anyway. Here we go. Let's go right here. I can let it pull. Granny would have been the first in her family to graduate college, but she dropped out to raise 6 kids. Oh yeah, that music's gonna get me a copyright straight. Let's take that off. Get that out of here. All right, so she stayed home to support Grandpa's career as an entrepreneur and a developer. Okay. This was their dream home, a painstaking amalgamation, I don't know how to say that right, of salvaged parts from all his projects. As the house was built, the marriage fell apart. He cheated and she lost everything in the divorce except the house, which she refused to relinquish, and she still resides. Okay. I spent many days after school dreaming of becoming a fantasy author. Granny vehemently supported those dreams. She nurtured my potential like Aunt March and Joe Amy. When my career started during the pandemic, I filmed a series of skits here that went viral. And my dream publisher reached out after seeing the series. Thrifting, sewing, gardening, homemaking, it's all art, and it changed my life. A drag path, but it's my granny saying she's not an artist while she works to launch her career. Now, why am I showing you this? Why does this matter? Why do I think people keeping the house matters? 9 times out of 10, the man can restart. I'm just gonna go there. If y'all divorce and one of y'all ends up homeless, y'all didn't have much to split anyway. But the man can restart, and his earning potential usually is not affected because it depends on the age of divorce. If he's 45 to 60, those are some of his best earning years. It slows down after 55. But those are some of his best, highest paid, gonna make the most money of his life, be a manager, somebody in management of his life. A woman who kids finally go to school, go to college, and you get ready to start and take care of your kids, you're gonna be working entry level. And you're pretty much gonna work to the day you die just to have some retirement. This is why, this girl jokes about, being around military people and like the white ladies being like, I can't wait till I get to 10 years so I can divorce them. So the military had to start really, okay, hey, what are all the criteria? Did y'all stay together the whole 10 years? Like the military had to like really work on it, to make sure people weren't just, going after these soldiers and staying 10 years married just so they can get them pensions, okay? Or half of their pension. Because if you're a man and you're getting $2,500 or $3,500 a month retirement, that's pretty good. You ain't got to do any work. If you get half that, yeah, you're going to have to go to work. So she said some of our seniors are too busy reliving their high school years to see the younger generation as competition. I believe that. I do believe that. Prime example here again. Let me go over here. This is before I do world news. God, what time is it? Okay. This is a hospital. This is where somebody gave birth at an Avenue Suite at Lenox Hill. And people like, this is tone deaf. You guys are rubbing it in my face that you have money when you had a baby. What? Let's play it. Let me see if the audio is on. Is the music? Let me turn that music off. Again, look at the room. Some of y'all who've had babies, look at the room. Look at the room. Why am I showing you this? The amount of hate comments this woman got for showing this room is insane. And all it tells me is, well, I found the local hospital near me and just drug my pregnant body over to it. You know what I'm saying? Like I found the quickest, closest clinic and just walked in there pregnant, about to drop a baby out. you have choice on where you have your baby. If you're going to spend the money, they're going to charge you. Go find what you want. Y'all act like y'all in this capitalism and acting like they charging me $50,000 for a baby. I'm gonna go. Yeah, if you're gonna charge me $50,000, I'm gonna be where I can get money like this. I'm gonna go right here. Right here. I'm gonna go here. Okay. They done birthed that baby in that room. They got a bed over there. They got a couch. They got it. Come on now, knock it off. Like, people act like they can't have a choice in the hospital. Now, I will say insurance does play a part. I'm not going to deny it. I've had a problem with insurance for 8 years now. I have a very special doctor I go to, and they be like, oh, we can't cover it. I'll be like, yes, you can. Then I got to prove why they can cover it. I get it. Okay. I get it. I understand. I'm not discrediting any of you who say, Erica, you don't understand. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to discredit any of you. Okay. But there's levels to this money thing. Okay. And then people are like, what about the 3 moms in the poverty sharing a room? That's your problem. There you go. Doesn't it depend on where your doctor lives? Is your doctor approved to even go on that side of town? Can he go to that hospital? Will they allow him? Okay. Come on. Did I have a luxury suite for my first pregnancy? It was huge compared to the second. I felt like I was sleeping on a park bench. Got the whole family in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, it's all like, y'all have choices. Y'all can review these hospitals. You can go visit them. They cannot hide the hospital from you. Like, you have, like, if you're 6 months pregnant and be like, I'm very concerned about the hospital. Can I go visit a couple of them? You can. It's not against the law. You can go in there. You can schedule appointments to visit the floors. Okay, there you go. There you go. I got divorced at 29. We didn't really have much. No kids, townhouse in Vegas, and some money in the bank. I packed the car and left. People said I should fight for half, and I said it really wasn't much. And that's what you got to realize. I'm going to go, and I'm going to go get something else. I'm good. Like, you can have this $12. I'm not going to fight you about $12 in our bank account. Now, if it was $15,000, I'll be like, girl, can I get a little bit of money so I can get an apartment? But again, it's levels to it. It's levels to it. I completely understand that. All right. So again, it's just, again, people, the amount of hate she's getting, it's insane. Now I'm going to show these 2 things. I call them world news you can use. This is what we're finally getting to out of this. And let me go here. Now, these people sound turtle. And I know y'all hate me saying that, but they do. They sound turtle. If you have a guest come onto your show, you're supposed to know a little bit about them. Okay. These people just sound, a little turtle to me. And I'm going to stand by me saying that. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, let me go over here.
Things Bugs. That is a company sponsored by Bill Gates, funded by Bill Gates and the Department of Defense and the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency that is coming out with insect-based foods. Huh? I'm going to say it again. Insect-based foods. Cricket protein powder, worm-based ravioli.
Man, stop playing.
I'm so serious, brother. I need y'all to put up on the screen if you can. All things bugs. Now, I'm just letting y'all know how far this is going, which is why we have to separate from the system. And when you say separate, it's in stages, it's in degrees, it's in levels. Don't eat what they feed you. Feed yourself, right? For example, okay, so we have to grow our own food. All right, that's one. And a lot of our people are doing that. The reason why they're able to fund these kind of corporations like this that produce insect-based food is because there are enough mouths that keep coming to them. It's invested in. Just like the next thing I'm going to mention now is they're coming out. Remember, we talked about the shots and everything your brother said turned out to be true. Now they said, well, damn, we know that they're not going to take these next round of boosters and all this nonsense. So what are we doing? University of Riverside in California. I'm so sad that it's in California again. But University of Riverside has been studying putting mRNA, messenger ribonucleic acid, which is the primary component of the shots, putting that in lettuce, potatoes, soybeans. So basically, instead of you taking a shot, because we know you more than likely ain't going to take another one after what we just did to y'all, you're going to eat this lettuce, though, and them burritos and them bowls. You're going to eat these potatoes with them eggs and all that you're eating. I'm serious. Y'all hear what I'm saying to you? Yeah, this is a very real thing. mRNA injected food.
How you be
so you're gonna eat your vaccines instead of getting the shot of a vaccine.
How you be knowing all this stuff?
It is my duty.
Stop. Did y'all hear what he said? How you be knowing this stuff? How you know these things? Y'all, this shit has been going 10 years now. This has been 10 plus years. And this is the type of people you talking to. How you know these things? Is this real? Real turtle out here. These the same people that be like, I don't eat chitlins. I don't eat pig feet. But that's how they sound. Okay, let me continue.
It's my purpose, right? It's my mission. Like we all have our place in the mission. This is mine. Not only do I have to know the information, I have to spread the information, then I have to create solutions with which to activate on that information.
And all this stuff can be researched and fact checked
all day long. That's why I'm giving you names, references, all that. Because we're not going to get up here and just spew some nonsense just so we can look good and look at me. Brother, I'm not into that nonsense. We do this in real life. They'll do this. They'll put it in written text for the most part. So right now you have it in scientific studies. If you Google all things bugs, please do it right now, live and in studio right now. Google it. I want y'all to see it for yourself because it is unbelievable. They're saying that insects are the #1 untapped resource for food on the planet. They said they're high in minerals. That's how they talking. It's like a movie.
Are things bugs, Bill Gates? Wow.
Yeah, that's what we want right there.
So they're funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
That's one of them. They're also founded by the Department of Defense. They're also funded by the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, DARPA, which is the area of the United States government that has robotic snakes, robotic dogs, robotic cheetahs. We have robotic animals.
This is crazy. Good bugs used to make sustainable food for malnutrition children. So they're trying to make it seem like this is a positive thing.
Absolutely. That's how Satan works. He comes in the name of help, in the name of a positive thing. First thing they're pushing is to feed this to children in third world countries. #1. So they're going to feed them bugs, literally. If you look on that website, y'all see it. The spaghetti, the pastas, all that is made out of bugs, but literally.
Like, what is going on?
They have something called maggot milk and maggot ice cream. I'm very serious.
Maggot milk.
Maggot milk.
Actually, is out, like in stores?
It's out. Specifically in certain parts of Europe, they're running the beta test right now. One of the companies, after they grind these maggots and they freeze and they add sugar and all that kind of stuff, the first people who they brought it to was some Africans and had them eat it. It's very real. And this is where they're pushing it because the main thing is we rely on them for our food and we shouldn't and we don't have to. There's enough of our people right now growing food. We should just encourage more. We should go and find the farmers markets, spend our money with them, so that we can get our fruits, vegetables, and all that. If you eat meat, get your chickens, your lamb, and all that. It's a lot of our people who are farming now. Y'all know what time it is. So we got to focus a lot more on that.
Okay. I'm not trying to be funny, but I keep telling y'all, if you're my digital liberty warriors, we talked about this a lot. Let's say there's something you're passionate about. Let's say you're passionate about the children of Atlanta. You could write books on books and series about how can we help the children of Atlanta, where to go to get resources for the children. You could go endlessly deep into a topic because the average person is going to tell you they busy and they work and I got kids, but they got 4 or 5 hours a night on their phone looking at booty shaking on Instagram. Big booty betties. They got 4 or 5 hours of watching reality TV. Don't know the kids' grades, watching reality TV. They can't do basic math. Don't know the children can't count time. But we watching this. I keep telling you, the stuff that we're talking about, this is old. Like if you, again, when all these white farmers are on TV talking about oh Lord, the farming, I don't have no money. They've been since I was a kid with 4-H and sustainable farming, telling us you're going to have to start selling directly to like the stores, HEB, this is before HEB, but it was like, HEB been out forever, but Food Lion, Kroger, you're going to have to go Harris Teeter. You're going to have to make a deal directly. You're going to get these contracts. You're going to have to make direct deals with restaurants. And some farmers, I'm not going to say what race of farmers, are like, nah, I just want to sell wholesale to China. Some people will slaughter half their farm to keep the prices up. So you're dealing with people who, one, I'm telling you, there is like a return happening, right? A lot of Black people like, well, shit, you and your granny, your mama been struggling in Atlanta 20 years now, 30, 40 years now, 2 generations. We might as well go back and hang out where our cousins is in the farm. We might as well do the trail ride. We might as well be in Houston. I was in Austin and I drove out to Wimberley and there was like a 15-acre farm. And my family said, why the hell you gonna buy a farm out there? You might as well just come back and buy a farm here. And I started laughing And I said, you got a point. But, you know, at the end of the day, it was a piece of land I really want. But, and you don't have to be full-time on any farm if you know what you're doing. But that's what we're up against. People who spend all day and night on the internet talking about big booty baddies and 50-50 relationships and black men don't make no money. And they don't know this has been going on for 10 plus years. They've been talking about giving y'all this mystery meat food. Your kids are going to school. Who you think gonna get this food first? Your kids. How do you know this? My algorithm ain't a bunch of stupid shit. My algorithm right now, if I show y'all, is nothing. I have like 4 accounts. Is nothing but farming, rich people stuff, exclusive areas. Look what the wealthy are doing. Vacation, unique vacation places. That's it. That's it. They didn't know all the mysterious herbalist deaths going on 10 years with Dr. C. Come on. When they had like 75 people drop in 1 year that were all herbalists and specialists and telling you about doing parasites and cleansing. Now, there's nothing wrong with the new generation of black people who are business owners who are selling teas and herbs and salute. I'm about to invest in somebody's company, I think, here coming up. But they aren't Dr. Sebi. They don't have a lot of letters behind their names, and they aren't spending, they haven't spent 20 years in it. They spent maybe the past 5 years since 2019, the e-com boom, really growing hair care products, right? And so now as they get deeper into holistic, right, they don't have the same level of knowledge and experience as these others. Boy, we can go in a rabbit hole with this. I'm gonna stop. I wish we read more as a people. Boy, anytime I see these hosts that y'all be making famous, I'd be like, God, y'all. Well, they do say if you want to hide something, hide it in a book. You already know. He reads and research. Simple. It's the simplest stuff. A lot of stuff was 10 to 20 years ago. Those people are mad late. He ain't saying nothing. That's my whole point. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the Black or Latino community, but there's a lot of Latino people who are basically him 500, but Latino. The real estate guy, but like Grant Cardone, but Latino. They're even coming into that whole thing. Like when they had Herbalife, they were selling it left and right down there. It was crazy. There you go. There you go. There you go. Let me go into the world news you can use. I might place one more second of this, huh?
Even if you live in the projects, you can do some vertical farming. Find you a nice little square area and get a vertical pot. They don't cost much at all, and you can start growing food in the house. This is not something that's, oh man, you need $20,000, $30,000. You need to buy a whole bunch of land. No, you can be right in the house doing this, right in your apartment doing this, and you must do it, because if you don't, then our lack of preparation is going to push for them to be activated to do what they're going to do. We get hungry. They're like, here, I got something for you to eat.
That's disturbing. Like,
it's very real. But we are being forced to do something for ourselves. They have heavy funding. This is not slowing down. It is very much so a real thing. So what you gonna do? That's the only point. What you gonna do about it? We're gonna keep talking about it, complaining about it, or we're gonna take a little bit of these dollars that we get in our pocket every week, or set aside that monthly food budget and go and buy food from good people who have farms. One, so that they don't have to sell their farm, because they're not being supported enough. Shout out to all the Black farmers and all the farmers in general. Number two, they're being sued by the government because they refuse to adopt these terrible food practices where they're being told to inject GMOs and certain seeds that are heavily toxic and radiated, and they refuse. So they're trying to poison their crops. Farmers been fighting back all throughout the US, Europe, and all that for the last, I would say, 5 to 6 years, heavily.
Yeah, I've been saying that.
Heavily, because they like, yo, you already got McDonald's in every damn corner. Leave us alone. Damn. Let us grow our own food. They're like, no, but you're not putting this in there. We need you to, no, we want good, healthy food. So the government is at war with the farmers because the farmers are helping to bring about a solution for the people. But
okay. Just to end on that note, if you do not, and I'm trying not to go into the rabbit hole, but if you do not inject your cows with a certain type of list of concoctions, you cannot sell steak to Texas Roadhouse, Outback Steakhouse, Longhorn Steakhouse. Some of these really big names, like when I started saying like, man, the meat tastes terrible at Texas Roadhouse. I don't know what's going on. I started just buying meat from my friend who has his own farm, right? And I've been telling people to do the same. Monty Farms, you can check them out, Louisiana. There's like a list I would love to put together on a separate channel and just talk about he doesn't eat chicken unless it's off his farm. He just doesn't eat it. Doesn't eat it. Every time I leave the country, I lose weight. I'm just telling you right now, if you start buying food from a farmer, you'll feel so much better. Like I've just started buying directly from farmers who are like, nah, I'm not doing all that. I'm not doing all that. I'm not processing in there. I'm not adding this junk to it. I basically will spend $500 a month at the farmer's market. Now, what I did is I got 1/4 of a cow, and I think I spent $1,500 or something to that effect. It's just important. It's just important. So let's go on to the next. This is called World News you can use here. And we'll go over all these things you're seeing on the world news you can use. This brother right here does a really great job. Just so y'all know, I think y'all should check him out when you get a chance. Okay, ready?
I'm not trying to scare you, but there's a lot going on right now that is not making it to the news. This right here is in Australia.
So Sienna and I have just come to Coles to literally get popcorn. And look, there's nothing. Look at the shelves here in Darwin. What the?
Right now, everybody's focused in on this war that's happening with Iran and how they blocked the Strait of Hormuz, where 20% of the world's oil and gas is supposed to be flowing through, but it's not at the moment. This is causing some really big problems. People in India are fighting over gas. Australia's energy minister has said that they have about 38 days of gas and 30 days of diesel left in their reserves. The Philippines declared a state of energy emergency, and the International Energy Agency is saying this is the worst energy crisis in modern history. But that's not the full story. What people haven't been talking about is the fact that 30% of the world's seaborne fertilizer trade also passes through the Strait of Hormuz. Prices for that primary fertilizer called urea is already up 30%, and you better believe that's going to show up in your food prices. And unlike with oil, there's no international reserves of fertilizer that can just be released to relieve some of the pressure. Right now, the United Nations World Food Program is saying that around 45 million additional people could be pushed into acute hunger due to rising food and fuel costs and supply chain disruptions. And for all my Westerners who think that this isn't going to affect you, listen up. All of this is happening right at the beginning of the planting season in the Northern Hemisphere. Farmers are having to make tough decisions about what exactly they're going to do. Are they going to buy fertilizer or just sit this season out? How much fertilizer are they going to buy? What crops are they going to plant? And for some, this might completely put them out of business, right as the farming industry in the United States continues to consolidate into fewer and fewer hands. Another thing that's finally starting to make it to the news is that there's a wildfire in Nebraska that's already burned over 800,000 acres of land. And this has devastated grazing land for an estimated 40,000 plus cows, which means ranchers are also going to be under a lot of pressure to figure out how they're going to feed these cows. Jeffrey Snyder, the founder of Eurodollar University and a popular analyst here on Twitter, pointed out that we also need to think about the fact that the biggest concern doesn't have to show up in food and gas prices. History tells us that this spike in the price of oil might actually come at the cost of your job. We know that the economy in the US already isn't in the best spot, so any extra pressure, businesses might just start cutting workers as they're also raising prices. Look, I don't want you to be scared. I just want you to be prepared. The major signal for me is whether or not the Strait of Hormuz opens back up and these ships start flowing in this region again. Not what these world leaders are talking about. All they're doing is yapping, trying to manage reputation and also manipulating financial markets so they can make money. Once the Strait of Hormuz opens back up, all of this is going to be mitigated. But until then, like I said, don't be scared, be prepared. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe to stay up to date as the situation develops, and I'll see you soon. Look, I'm not trying to scare you.
Okay, let me clarify a few things. I like him. I like his videos. That fertilizer, no disrespect, that's for Africa and Europe. Now, people say, no, he says for everybody. Listen to me. South America and United States have been called the breadbasket for a long time. Africa's been called the breadbasket of the world, yes, but the United States is called the breadbasket by China and other countries. We have other systems in place. Now, what have people been doing? People basically have been like a mini boycott of America via the price is too high, et cetera, et cetera. What does Australia do if they have problems? They ain't calling England. They ain't been a colony in a long time. Australia, even though they piss with America, will be like, hey, America, we need to send A, B, C, and D, F, G. Okay. South America, there are whole parts of Argentina, Brazil, the northern part of Argentina, of course, not the Patagonia part, but the other part, northern part where the farms are. These places, Venezuela, like, what do you think? Y'all think Venezuela, we just came to get oil. No, we came to put Venezuela farms back on track. We came to put the Venezuelan farms back on track. Venezuela has some of the most luscious land. There's no reason the people were starving. That's the whole point. If communism is so smart and if communism was so smart All you had to do for Venezuela was round people up by the hundreds and make them go work manually on the farms. Same thing with Cuba. Cuba's sitting here telling you, oh, we ain't got no power. You're telling me over 100 years y'all been buying solar panels and y'all have natural gas stuff going on out there in Cuba and none of it's working? Either you weren't buying it or it's been malfunctioned. You're telling me Cuba don't have enough farms? They can't round up 100 people every city and send them out to the farms and provide them some housing? Like, you got to listen to how stupid some of this stuff sounds. Now, I had a video for Hawaii, but I don't have it up. I don't know where I put it. And it was like in Hawaii used to be self-sustainable. Now, because of some corporate farms took over some spaces in Hawaii, it only grows 14% of the food it needs for the whole island. Australia is an island. And another problem with this is there's a system of, since 2011, when Obama was in office, coming out of office, he was talking about going back to localization. And there's so many books on the return to localization. Like, you cannot, and there's a system kind of like in computers. I don't know if any of y'all work in logistics or have ever worked at food service or ever worked at a grocery store. They have people who order the food. They will not order the food until it's just about to run out. That's why every time there's a storm, the grocery store is completely empty. They keep just enough food for like 3 days. And they're like, look how smart we are. Look how much money we saved the company by barely stocking any food in the back. This is a real thing. This is why this whole like, oh my God, why is, the Philippines, Bali, all them places where they rely on cheap gas, even cheaper than us. All them expats y'all see crying, talking about they're going to be back over here. They're going to be back over here. I already know it. I'm not worried about it. That's why when you hear these expats talking about, yeah, I'm leaving America. You are? Baby, please. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Okay. So again, if America, what was the difference in World War II for America and other countries? Like, we always joke about how British food looks like Germany still flying overhead. Like, they're just eating beans and toast and sausages and like, damn, why y'all eating like this? Because there are really places that didn't grow their own food. America had a bunch of victory farms. Like, our president got on the phone like, get your ass in your backyard. Shit, turn your front yard into some food. Do it today. And people were doing it. So we're going back to some of that localization. Okay? We gotta get back to some of the localization because Obama was talking about that in 2011. Okay? Like, I don't think y'all understand how much this stuff that I'm telling you online is old. This is old information. Why this stuff been going on? This isn't new. And they know it's not new. They just know you're not paying attention. You're on the phone, kiki-keying all day, goofy talk, laughing about stupid stuff all day, and your backyard's full of grass that you ain't gonna cut no way. Right? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Let me see. Large guy abroad. I ain't seen him in a while. He got out of my algorithm. He's mad he came to America and had a baby. That's all that is. And he realized that girl that you married from overseas, she didn't want to stay over there. She wanted to come to America. And people don't realize how much it really costs. It's easy for a single guy to be like, yeah, I would love to have a wife. Okay, well, how much that costs? How much you gonna work? The average person don't do no budget, y'all. You do know that. So I forgot about him. I'm gonna go look his channel up again. Put his channel in the comments so I can remember to go click on it. But yeah, you'll get a lot of people kind of going back to farming is a cool, hip thing. You're going to start seeing it. Prime example, I'm going to show you this real quick. This is a concept, and they do a party out here. See? Now, this ain't cheap. These events aren't cheap. See, they got the pig there. They got different fruits and veggies over there. I just want you to understand these farms, these hobby farms, these places, they're going to do more and more events. You thought you saw a lot. Oh, wait, are y'all seeing my screen? Yeah, y'all see it. Okay. You thought you saw people talking about trail rides and country stuff. Baby, you're going to see it 10x. Next year or two, it's going to be 10x. You're going to think, you're like, good gracious. I just want you to understand what's happening. Just want you to understand what's happening. It's a change coming. So you can decide where you want to be in this. Part of why I'm in the classes I'm in is I see two types of people in the classes I'm in for these certificates when I go in person. In this continuing ed, I had to go to this class. It's men who are 50 to about 60 something, usually white men. And then I'll see a group of guys who are like 29 to 32. And they could be so different. Like, you ever hear the joke, you got soft hands, brother. You got soft hands. Like, literally the guys that are young look like soft hands. You know, they got the hat on. They got, you know, they look like they just grew a beard first time ever. And they're paying attention. The older guys, I'm telling you, people are really preparing to be in construction and blue collar stuff. They're switching from white collar to blue collar. They did the same thing in 2008. They did the same thing in 2011. A lot of these people left white collar, went to blue collar, and make more, if not same, more money. Okay. So if you're the middleman of millions, we've talked about it. You know about it. We'll talk more about it. I got to get out here and finish some work. I got to submit some forms. So as much as I love talking to y'all, you guys have a great day. Any questions, comments, and concerns, throw them in the chat before I leave. I also want to thank you so much. Thank you so much, Erica at Lunch, Just Nutrition. Hey, thanks. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you, Ray Gunn. I appreciate the super chat. And again, book a call or Middleman of Millions or Land Grab. That's where you'll see me the most after, I think, mid-April. I have a few contracts I'm trying to get pushed through. If they get pushed through, baby, I'm going to be like, Trump, Trump, Trump. Y'all going to be mad at me. But anyway, all right, you guys. This is your girl, Erica. Have a great day.
Hi, I'm Brandy Williams, founder of Williams Accounting and Tax Services in McDonough, Georgia. We're a full-service accounting firm proudly serving clients nationwide, including military families and U.S. expats. With over 20 years of experience as an IRS-enrolled agent, we've got you covered from past tax returns to business services and strategic tax planning. Visit WilliamsActTax.com. Let's get connected and take your finances to the next level.